Authors should not use their powers for evil like this. Hi, I'm Heather from BooktTubes, and I am pretty well known for DNFing frequently and often.
Like, what is happening?
For any reason. But what I'm not known for is sticking it out and reading books that I don't enjoy. I'm not having a good time at all to do a rant review or for a project or because it's on the TBR or any of the things. I bail. I'm a quitter. I quit it. I'm like, this is weird, and I'm out.
Might be too much for me, gonna be honest with you.
Okay, I don't really stick it out with books that I'm not enjoying.
I was not prepared.
However, my lovely friend Izzy at Happy For Now, she is infamous for reading bonkers books. I have unfortunately been drawn into this before and it has never gone well. I did not sign up for this. She sent me this. It's called DNF Bookstore. It's an interconnected series where each novella is by a different author, and the authors are purposely writing the cringiest things that you can imagine in an attempt to actually get you to DNF the novella. I have completed one, and let me tell you, they really went for it. Imagine a good romance writer taking the most horrendous descriptors and adjectives that they can think of and using them on you. I think our naughty kitten here would enjoy a nice barracuda in this honeypot dance. Yeah, hopefully our pain is for your enjoyment. I don't know if I can do this. Because when I tell you this is horrific. Do you like my dirty pillows, little kitten? Yes, my voice is muffled in her cleavage, but I make no move to back out, content to die, nestled between her twins. So I stay in my hidey cave of tatas. It is so unbelievably terrible. You should believe me. Okay, it's really bad. It's really, really bad.
I can't.
They were creative. I'll give them that.
I don't know if I'm a prude. If this just isn't my kink. I know it's not my kink, but if it just isn't my kink, but a horrifying experience was had. It was terrible. It was awful. And Izzy texted me and was like, this one was disgusting. And it sounds like she is having a worse time than I did with that first one. However, no, I'm really scared. I'm like really scared to read more. This one, what is it called? Slurp God awful. God awful. All right, so we have a college student and she has the hots for two of her professors. One is a woman and one is a man. And they seem to be a couple of some sorts, not 100% sure on that. And then her bully pushes her down many flights of stairs. When she wakes up, she's with the professors. Now, it was very obvious that she was not actually waking up with the professors. She is in a coma. Yeah, she is. In her coma, she's living in Fantasyland where she and the professors hook up in the guy's office. She hooks up with her female professor first, and then she has a round with a guy, and then it's all three of them together for a couple rounds, right? And that's the book, right? Okay. It is a lactation kink. So she's obsessed with her professor's two glorious melons and is nursing from them and is using the milk in very creative, diabolically creative ways that should not be used in my humble opinion. Rubbing the milk all over the landing strip of my little snatch, combining my juices with her milk and making a moist love syrup. Reaching up, I squeeze and fill my hand with more of my mommy dom's milk, bringing it back to my lady lips and painting my channel. He moves his hands up to my lips and uses his fingers to part them like he's the fucking Moses of my pink pussy sea. Rutsch Schlong hits all the right notes, but it's rearranging my guts, and I know that any second my innie belly button is going to permanently become an outie. Brett's dick is the sex meat in this pussy sandwich, effectively using us as a doubled up bun for his stadium bra. I don't understand. I don't understand. I was not prepared mentally, spiritually. I was reading it in the living room alongside my husband, and I was just like cackling, like out loud, just like guffawing. Is that how you say that? I physically could not. I could not just hold it in and straight-faced read this book. The descriptive words were a choice, and I know that they were made purposefully. I know that the author does not normally use these words, surely, correct? You know what was the worst, the most horrific thing of this novella is at the end of the book it says, "Are you not satisfied with this? It's ending? Follow them in the full-length novel." And I am just flabbergasted because I thought that we all knew that this was a gimmick. Why would anybody want a full length of this? I didn't think that we were doing that. I thought we knew that that was a terrible idea. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I am. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Her fun bags, my dirty pillows, a moist love syrup, milk-infused juices, her already refilling jugs, her curly, pristinely manicured beaver, her beef flaps gyrate, your watering hole, massive gummy meat sausage, massive trouser snake, his pork whistle, my lady lips, her muff, schlong, fuck hose, cummy snake, horsey-sized love worm, my mud dungeon, my chocolate starfish, his taco warmer, sex meat, meat sheath, baby milk. These books, bro, are a shit show. It's like, you can tell that the author knows how to write and that they can write, you know, regular romance books, but then you will have the most horrifying sentence you've ever read in your entire life just inserted in there. And then you're supposed to go on about your day without gagging. I literally am gonna go buy ginger ale. The horror. You should never read these books under any circumstances. Hello, party peoples. I am desperately trying to get ready for my King of Atolia live, and I've been decorating for Christmas. I've been doing too many video projects at the same time, honestly, and it's not going well, but I've been just so rushed and I haven't really had time to update you guys, so I thought I'd just do it while I'm doing this real quick. All right, so I'm still in the middle of the third one, whatever it is, and it's kind of interesting because the love interest is a billionaire and he has like a class fetish, you know, having a poor girl who needs him, and it doesn't have to be a real poor girl. Like our first scene with it, we see a famous model that he like hooks up with, role playing it with him of like going to the grocery store and not being able to pay for her groceries with the cash that he gave her. The author's note made me think that this author knows what they're talking about and is not like doing something weird, but I think it's interesting because obviously this is like very explicitly that's the kink. It kind of makes you think about the unspoken factor of it with billionaire romances. Like, why is this billionaire interested in this waitress, you know? It's just interesting. She works at the DNF bookstore, and so the first sex scene is with a model that he's hooking up with. It's not with the main character. There is a lot of feet stuff. I hate feet so much. I distinctly remember, I think I've told you guys this before, I love New York. The reality dating show with New York, who I'm loving on House of Villains, by the way. I love seeing her. I distinctly remember I was sneaking watching that. That was one of the things that I would watch when my parents weren't home. And she had a one-on-one solo date that was like a luxury bubble bath jacuzzi with the guy, and he swallowed her toes whole. And I had a new horror unlocked. I did not know that, that was a possibility, that that was a thing that people did. I have always hated feet, and even like as someone who like didn't really know that much about sex, to be honest, I don't even know if I knew like the true technical inner workings of sex at that point. To find out that people were into feet like that was something I did not need to know. I didn't want to know, didn't need to know. Like, what a horrifying reveal that was. I distinctly remember that. So then yesterday when after I'd read it, my husband woke up, and while he was still asleep, which was not really fair, I asked him what I hate, and this was his list: sunflowers, washing dishes, Kanye West, Donald Trump, and then he finally got to feet, which was the answer I was looking for. I hate feet so much. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I do not want anybody touching my feet. I don't want anybody's feet touching me. Or I don't even want anybody's feet like in my vicinity. I hate it. I was like really grossed out because there's like this very specific scene. The description is just like a level of diabolical that I did not need in my life at all whatsoever. So the second one, what even was the second one? Oh, the plus size throuple, daddy dom, little girl, but not in the bedroom, age play stuff. Not my thing, but that was fine. Honestly, it was the least cringy that she used like the least amount of descriptors like that. It really wasn't that bad at all, but... Do you think her wet, dark cave would be able to take both of our explorers at once? I'm surprised my greedy kitty doesn't swallow up my entire arm. You stood in your apartment looking at your kitchen going up in flames. So she has a crush on her neighbors and she is turned on by them just by their existence, and they're a married couple. One guy's a personal trainer, one's a firefighter, and she literally sets her kitchen on fire and then they rescue her. One-eyed snake, sleeping snake, one-eyed anaconda, their impressive salamis, those pogo sticks, impressive yummy tools, milky white globs of temptation, delectable globes, aching mounds of milky flesh, my most secret of gardens, my sopping wet cavern. Sweet one might be too much for me, gonna be honest with you. All right, so here's the thing. It's many days later. It's a few days later. It's a few books later. I read better than these books and gave myself a bit of a palate cleanser. I am 2.5 books in. I have 3.5 books to go. I want to be done. I want to be done. I cannot keep having this hang over me. The thing is, I was really grossed out before I stopped reading this one. I've got to get it done. I have to be done with this. I can't go on like this. Let me read you what has traumatized me. Oh God. Looking at her, he licked the inside of her shoe. We'll start with the barefoot part. He grabbed her ankle and stuck her toes into his mouth, tasting the salt and tang of sweat. Her big toe had a callus on it that he nibbled with his teeth like it was a bit of cartilage on a chicken wing, and he wanted every morsel of meat. When I tell you that has grossed me out for like 4 days straight, I think it comes unbidden to my mind. My God, why would anyone do such a thing? What could possess you to write such a sentence? The worst sentence I've ever read in my entire life, perhaps. They're in the car on their first date. Every time he listed off another shadowy $1,000,000 enterprise, Gertrude pictured his penis growing a centimeter, growing longer, drooping over with its own weight like an elephant's trunk, unfurling from its foreskin as it slid down his leg, a Pinocchio nose of dick growing with each billionaire boast. This is a couple pages later. She pictured sitting on his lap and letting her tongue ooze out of her mouth like a black serpent, snaking around his throat before diving into his ear, licking the inside of his skull and wrapping tightly around the little gray slime he called a brain. She would control him. It's like a normal romance book with like normal writing and then just the most bizarre thing you've ever read in your entire life. He's extremely turned on by the fact that she got her underwear on clearance. He puts his black card inside her and then she sits on his face to put it in his mouth. What is happening? So in the middle of them having sex, which I had kind of gotten this vibe from the rest of the book, she's basically figured out that she likes women, or at least one specific woman. All right, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give Nectar 3 stars. Did it have the single worst foot paragraph I've ever read in my life? Yes it did. That was the only part of the book that was like truly too much for me though. It was just that part. What an interesting little novella. Of the 3 that I've read, the first book was like completely milky, kinky erotica basically. The second book handled things with care and then had like a little bit of cringe and one sex scene, and then this third one is the same. It kind of handles the actual topic with care, the class play and the poverty kink that this billionaire has. They don't end up together or anything like that. They just have one date, one sex battle basically. But they kind of end as friends. They end pursuing relationships with other people. And I don't know. It wasn't bad. Except for the things that were written on purpose to be the worst thing you've ever read. Which again, takes skill. Like, it takes skill to come up with such evil, evil things to say. Such horrible descriptors. But the rest of it, like, I kind of get it. I'm kind of like, you make sense to me. I need to lift this camera up. Not keep bending my neck like that. Good God. Too old for this. But yeah, I didn't hate it. There were those couple parts that I absolutely hated. But the book itself, while not being something I would recommend to people, I didn't hate. Alright, the phone sex operator is a book nerd, a comic nerd. And then the hero, he actually works at the DNF bookstore. He's a virgin and he is also a book nerd, right? So he's her favorite customer and she decides to gamble on like what would work for him. So she says, "Oh Adonis, sweet baby lord on his throne, my gash is trembling, waiting for your lover's lance to enter. My cavern is hungry, nay, starving, for a fraction of what only you can give. Pump me hard as you can, before pulling your bulbous mushroom out and splattering me with your love." Oh. "I wanted that sticky fizz shoved into my cervix and held in there with a plug. I love the feeling of being full of cum. The way it leaked out reminded me of a frosted donut." He was the D to my orc and I wanted more. This is so unbelievably stupid. What do you mean that this is a cringy erotic novella? You have a virgin who calls a sex line and then ends up falling for the sex line operator and they meet in real life and are in a relationship. Again, he was a virgin who met her through her phone sex work and now it's like, it's cheating if you do phone sex work. I don't like it. It's intimate with other guys and it's not okay. And we have a third act breakup about it. And this stupid, horrible, cringy, not good erotic novella. Tell me now. The sex worker that you met is a sex worker who works. And another thing. I do not think in any way, shape, or form that the size of your dick is the measure of you as a man or is somehow meaningful to your worth as a man. But how are you, a small-dicked virgin, going to complain about the phone sex operator continuing to operate phone sex? I just need you to be so for real for just a moment. Also, he's 37 years old. They get back together. They have a 1-month anniversary where he reads her god-awful poetry that he wrote her. And then 8 months later, he's completely fine with her being a sex worker. They continue to have cringy, awful, horrible, not very good, clumsy, brand new sex, even though they've apparently had 8 months of experience with it. I could hear his heavy breathing as his hand slapped against his bladder, beating his meat stick. The fappening on the other end answered for me. I groaned like a mountain lion in heat. The unsure look he'd give as I'd grab his pecker and push it against the open gash, coaxing it inside like a turtle seeking its shell. Meat stick, meat sleeve, my purple starfish, their scrotums, baby bather, moister than an oyster, meat slinger, meat swatch, left a slug trail, blooming meat butterfly, my bingo button, my warm slimy hole, her hot pocket, beef curtains, sweet flaps, mushroom tip, prime juice. Handy starts with her drooling over the model on a romance cover, a hot guy telling her she has drool on her face, but he was just kidding because he's trying to flirt with her, and his name is Eden Beavers. Oh, good news, she's not like other girls because she loves her body. Can you see my levels of irritation going up as we continue? This is the type of insta love where they've known each other for an hour and he's talking about how they're gonna be together forever. All right, so they meet, right? And then same day he meets her dad. He also finds out about her synthetic cum business, which is why she ended up breaking up with her fiance. She has a cum kink, and apparently that was too much for the other men that she was with, and he's very excited about it. So he's in the commercial kitchen with her that she rents to make her product. Nothing wrong with any of this so far, right? But I dip a finger into the cum and give it a taste. It's exactly as she described, sweet and minty. The texture is creamy and a little lumpy, a little like watery pudding. See, that's where you lost me. That's where you lost me. I don't do lumps. No. Oh dear God. Parting her outer lips, the gelatinous jizz spiderwebs over her hole, and I dive in. Okay, so her ex lies and causes a third act breakup. His solution is to shut her out. So she leaves him in the middle of the night, and then he responds to that by ignoring her for an entire week. Then he gives her a engagement and wedding ring, and the wedding ring is made of his it's little milky white stones that are made of his stuff. Terrible. Nut butter, lady garden, serious nectar, clam hammer, love liquor dripping down your petals, her love glove, munch her meat, her velvet sleeve, fleshy mounds, my bean, one-eyed monster, his white honey, fake cock snot, my coother, spongy mushroom head, taco warmer, hot tua, love muffin, bather beather, her channel of love, joy knob, man mayo, cock sock, my Jimmy Dean, his rock hard Johnson, his hard throbbing pussy pounder, milky white love juice. However, I am so happy that I only have one left that I'll almost definitely finish it today. Hey, so I just got to where I can talk to you about what I've been reading. I'm just gonna tell you right now, the kink in this book is milking, is lactating, is nursing, right? Same as the first book, unfortunately for me. Right, so she cleaned the DNF bookstore, and she, for the last 5 years, has had a exclusive relationship with her vacuum. Mind you, it's a wet, dry vac. It's not that, she doesn't just use the vacuum for sex. She uses the same vacuum to clean a public bookstore and other, I would assume, commercial property. What do you mean you're using it on a public carpet and then using it on yourself? What do you mean? What do you mean? I beg of you. What is happening? How can this be happening? And before you get any bright ideas, it's not like she cleans it in between the different uses, because she goes straight from cleaning the bookstore, still in the bookstore, comes across the hero who is sitting in a chair after closing, is reading a book about milking kink, right? The way that he's been solo doing this milking kink is with oranges, with like really large stem sections, you know what I'm saying? She has the vacuum, he has the oranges. Anyways, she is really into this kink, and there's a section of the bookstore, and for like 2 years nobody has taken the books, right? Except for her. And then here he is, a guy with the same kink as her in the same bookstore after hours reading the book. So they hook up in the bookstore with the vacuum, and also she cannot give up the vacuum. Anything he wants to have with her, it also has to have with the vacuum. He has the vacuum suck him off after watching her use the vacuum on top and bottom. Okay, I don't know what to say. I am not having a good time. I'm not having a good time. Thank God this one is shorter than the last couple ones have been. Mind you, they have just met like 30 seconds ago. However, I can understand if you have spent your entire adult life looking for someone else whose kink matches your kink and haven't been able to find them all, and then they literally like drop into your lap right in front of you. Taking advantage of that. I can understand that. But the strangers and the vacuum in the bookstore with the milk kink. And the vacuum that she knows is a vacuum. She's made that very clear. She's aware that he is an inanimate object. I just can't. Okay, here's my other thing too. Why the vacuum? There are breast pumps. And not only that, but there are a lot of sex toys that are made on purpose for this kink. Like, I don't understand why the vacuum that you use as an industrial cleaner. I don't get it. She's cleaning her apartment before their date. After that, I sweep my floors and use the dustpan since Herb, that's the name of the vacuum, is in boyfriend mode tonight. Smiling, I move to grab Herb, but Chip stops me. Oh, is he coming to dinner? I lick my lips. He doesn't have to, but he was gonna give you roadhead on the way over. I look down at Herb's clean mouth, my nipples hardening. You love giving roadhead, don't you, Herb? When I meet Chip's eyes again, they're wide with excitement. Does that mean he gives you roadhead sometimes? A memory flashes through my mind. Herb's hose pinned under my thigh, his mouth trapped to my swollen pussy as I steered down Main Street toward home. The last time he gave me roadhead was after a very long night at the bookshop in the inn. We cleaned so much, I was so wound up. Listening to him run all night. As soon as we got in the van and I cleaned his mouth, he went down on me until I nearly crashed from coming. She is dirty talking the vacuum while the vacuum sucks him off while he drives. I am not prepared for this. I did not know that this was a possibility that I was getting myself into. I literally don't know what to do. Literally. Chip's cock flops out of Herb's throat, sticky and still a little hard. It's a beautiful sight. I love Herb, but I've missed cock. Chip surprises me, reaching across the cab to stroke his finger around the rim of Herb's mouth. Thanks, man. That was great. I told you he's good at oral. I've been waiting to find you, to find the man who lives to drink my milk, my soulmate who I make sustenance for. She tells him that the vacuum wants to go on both of them, and then he tells her that she reminds him so much of his mom, and then she says that that's the best compliment ever. I am in the bad place. I am not happy to be here. He has also officially decided that he is into the vacuum and is also dirty talking it while using it on her. In the middle of sex, the vacuum has died and they are now emergency running it to a repair van, I think. I cannot take this. This is too much. Okay, so because the vacuum repairman is acting like they're crazy for having this vacuum wrapped in a blanket, saying that he stopped breathing and begging him to save him, he's cruel and judgmental. Okay, all right. 2 days later, they are married, and at least in their minds, they're also married to the vacuum. With his wide attachment on, Chip and I share a heated glance before Herb is purring, sucking us both into his eager, slutty mouth. That's right, Herb. Take us both like the whore vac you are, Chip groans, his filthy talk getting me even more worked up. Reaching down, I take the slack from Herb's cord and loop it around his head, making sure not to run it over the power button. Pulling it tight, I lie back, holding the cord, tugging, moaning, choke on us, Herb. Fight for your air while you fuck us. Oh yeah, Chip groans. That's hot, babe. Choke him real good. Herb is taking us so well that I can't help but praise him. Herb, you're doing so good. You're taking us so well, baby. I say, tugging the cord again. We want to hear you choke on us. Yeah, Chip moans as he thrusts into Herb's mouth. I love how it feels being inside of you with Chip. I tell Herb, yanking the cord again to give him a gasp.
He takes it like a pro as Chip nudges his mouth down into our genitals harder with a groan. I love watching Chippy force you down on us, you dirty slut. Pulling Herb's cord so tight that I'm almost positive he's going to pass out. Except he's a vacuum and he can't, otherwise he totally would. Never in my life do I ever want to read anything like this ever again. That was the worst of the bunch by far. That was maybe the worst book I've ever read. I don't know. I mean, I have read the Tetris Blocks one, so there's some competition. Oh. Oh. I should have never let Izzy talk me into this because I fear I'm going to be haunted by this experience for the rest of my life.